welcome to Business Unusual. We continue talking about life after COVID-19. We are looking at life reboot and asking ourselves, how do we engage with this life? How do we engage with this new landscape that we find ourselves in? Now, we've been talking about guidelines of how to fit in this new place. And if you've not watched the previous broadcast, please do so and see that this is a continuation of where we've been. My name is Susan Opio.
And my name is Charles Opio.
Now, we continue with the guidelines. And of course, this is not unlimited. You can look at this and get more and more and just advise yourself and those around you on how to live in this new space.
Yeah. And like we said, why are these so crucial? Because it's like saying you've come out of an injury, you have now healed. How do you re-engage walking?
Yes.
What are the guidelines? What are the parameters? What are the props you need to help you move until you can take off?
And become more successful, productive in this new place.
In this new environment.
Yes.
So our guidelines act like props. They act like scaffolding on a building. Once the building stands, you may not need them. But they are very important in the transition stage.
At least one thing we are all in agreement. Life will never be the same.
Exactly.
When we talk about COVID-19, we are saying that this came to disrupt our lives, rearrange and actually bring us to a better place, even though there was the pain of the disease. But the activities that changed because of this whole virus and this whole season actually brought us to a new place.
You know, historically, globally, the major changes in the world, major accelerated growth and advances and technical changes came out of global crisis. Whether it was a pandemic or a world war. The lessons learned became the bedrock of the next level of function. And so historically, why we are in a special generation is that most of the people in those histories did not have the documented data to analyze.
We do.
We have the benefit of the documented data, so we can analyze that, learn from it, and do better.
And do better. And again, we are talking about a pandemic that happened at the verge or the birthing of the 5th industrial revolution.
Absolutely.
So these two coming together, we are looking at life and saying, listen, somebody who pre-COVID, the way we did things, post, things have been accelerated.
And I think this is the uniqueness. You know, you said that, and for a lot of people, they may not completely comprehend that transition you're mentioning. A lot of people have not even heard of the industrial revolutions, which is another story. And some people think we are only in the 4th industrial. They don't know the 5th is coming. Now, or rather the 5th is here. This is the picture. The picture is that every time there were major changes in the earth, all right, usually they just happened on us. It is only during the 4th industrial revolution that we looked back at the other revolutions and began to see patterns. In fact, it is only in the 4th industrial revolution that we named the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. In other words, we finally saw a pattern, were able to describe them, and were able to then use them to look at the next. Now, why we say that this has been crucial is because while we were anticipating what would have been the end of the 4th and the beginning of the 5th, and when we began to talk about it, discuss it, focus on it, and talk about how far in the future it was, COVID happened and shortened the gap.
It came to accelerate.
Suddenly, those things that we said would one day happen were caused to happen. And that is the space we keep describing and saying we need to have guidelines on how to engage, to re-engage.
What we find so interesting with this virus, or this, I think I'll call it this virus, is that it came and pulled the future into the now. So many things that we thought, like you're saying, that these things are so far off. We know we are planning for them, and we even thought we had time.
We said
we had steps
there was a very
of how to get there.
There was a very common statement in my sphere, corporate sphere, where we're futurists, where we talk, we say these things are by the year 2030.
This will happen.
That's why there are so many visions pegged on the year 2030, globally. By the year 2030, there are two landmarks that were being used, 2030 and 2050. Okay? Now, we need to think differently. 2020 was like an emerging, a birthing point. 2020 became more than a birthing point.
It is.
It became a cesarean section.
It's an interesting. I think 2020 is that one year where we will never forget. Anyone who is alive now.
Where if we're thinking we're getting one baby, we got quadruplets. We got sextuplets. Suddenly,
had to think of how
everything had to move quickly.
Yes.
So what we're planning for 2030 is probably now to 2021 plan.
Oh, yes.
What was 2050 will be a 2030 plan.
So everything has been
pulled
the
in.
future has been pulled into the now.
Exactly.
Now the question is, and that's what we're talking about, guidelines
Yes.
of how to live in this
Yes.
new place.
Yes.
This thing finds us here, and majority were not prepared.
Yes.
Now we are saying we have to get into this space.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about have the courage, that's what you're talking
Yep.
about. Our sixth guideline.
Yeah, guideline.
Okay?
Yeah.
Have the courage to make uncharacteristic decisions. Do not apply, or at least limit the wait and see approach.
You see?
Let's talk about
that's the danger.
Yeah.
The danger is that when you're emerging in a new environment, people begin to adopt a wait and see approach. Unfortunately, this window, if you do wait and see, you miss the importance of riding the wave. Because riding the wave is what adjusts you,
Okay.
calibrates you, and strengthens you to function.
Yes.
So you require courage to make those decisions.
Yes.
That would be uncharacteristic of you. In other words, in the past, your decisions were made based on a known.
Yes.
These are my variables.
Okay.
I know what I need to do about it. Now you have an unknown. You have to anticipate.
Yes.
You have to determine. You have to risk. In other words, in this process, some failures are good.
Very. So you're
Yeah.
talking to this person who is asking themselves how to move on.
Yes.
And you're telling them, limit the wait and see.
Yes.
Because that is somebody who doesn't want to take risk. That's
Yeah.
somebody who's saying, I don't want to lose.
Yes.
And you're saying,
Exactly.
losing this season is
Yes.
good, could be good for you.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
what may happen in a particular field of approach,
Yes.
if you say, I want to wait and see how things unfold,
Yes.
there, someone else is simply going to do it. By the time you study them, they have learned experience, they have made the necessary mistakes,
Yes.
they've made the necessary adjustments, they have learned the terrain, they are now ahead.
And you have to start.
Exactly.
You have to go through your journey.
By the time you are starting where they started, they are exiting
So you are already
because
coming
something
to,
has changed again.
you're always at the tail end
Thank you.
of everything.
And so you will find yourself in this group of people
Yes.
where somebody who knows this business is about to end sells it to you and shows you how well it was doing.
Shows you the books.
You are excited.
And you know
Yes.
that this one,
Yeah.
it's a good deal.
Yet you don't ask, if it's doing so well, why are you selling?
So there are some people who are always buying that which is going out of.
Exactly, because they're using historical data. We can no longer use historical data.
Yeah.
We now use future forecasts. Now, future forecasts require courage.
Yes.
Require
They
saying,
do.
you know what? I am taking this risk.
Yep.
All right? I already know there's a possibility that this will be my losses. So wisdom tells me I am willing to absorb these losses for the possibility of this win. You get the difference?
Oh, yes.
If I get these losses, worst case scenario, I have become better
At how not to do
at
it.
how not to do it, and I've already learned the terrain. I've now become experienced. If I win big.
Yes.
Those are the only two scenarios
So
left.
we are talking about have the courage.
Yes.
As a business person.
Yes.
We are saying that have the courage to make uncharacteristic decisions. This
Yes.
is not you.
Yes.
This is not how you'd move.
Exactly.
But you know what you're saying?
Yes.
For me to survive, for me to
Yes.
engage, for me to navigate this new season, I have to come to that place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. Why do you need courage? Because you're not a cannibal. You do not eat yourself. You can't consume yourself.
Okay?
Someone else is consuming your product and your service.
Yes.
So stop building anything for yourself. That's what people
Build
go wrong.
for another.
Yeah, you're saying, you know what? I want to do this thing like this, but me, I don't like it. Listen,
It's
you're not
for
the
you.
consumer.
It's not for you. And that's what you say, limit the wait and see approach.
Yes.
Because you wanted to build it the way you'd love.
Exactly.
So instead, you're saying, let me wait and see somebody else who does it.
That's the problem.
So you're always copying.
Don't copy. Do it. Move forward. As long as you know what you're doing and the quality of it is good, take that step out.
I think when you talk about, remember, when you talk about business unusual, we are talking from a kingdom perspective.
Yes.
We are talking from a people who know their God.
Yeah.
And they do exploits.
Exactly.
Why? Because that kind of a person will say, because of my faith in God, I can have
Yes.
that courage.
Yes.
To do something
Yep.
that is so uncharacteristic of me.
Exactly. And so what did God tell Joshua? Be very courageous.
Yes, be strong
Why?
and courageous.
That is a statement required
Yes.
when you're entering territory that is unknown.
Be strong
Uncharted territory.
and courageous.
Be strong and courageous. I will be with you. Listen, it almost sounds like an oxymoron.
Yes.
Think carefully. Normally, if I tell you, be courageous, I'm basically telling you you're on your own. Use your courage.
Yes.
But God is telling you, be courageous, I will be with you. So it is your courage I am backing.
Yes.
As you take that step, I will protect you.
So your courage is based on your knowledge of Him.
Yes.
And you're walking in and you're saying, you know what, this is a new normal.
Yes.
This is a new space we are entering
Yes.
into. But in this place where I don't seem to see Him, I'm courageous. I know.
Exactly.
Even when I don't see Him,
Yeah.
He's with me.
So what is courage in the new?
Okay?
Courage in the new is confidence that I will make it.
Yes. We must go with that mentality.
Yeah, courage in the new is not fear that something may go wrong.
Yeah?
Courage is confidence that I will make it.
Yes.
I am bold.
Yes.
I believe this is going to work. Why? I've put all the other parameters in place.
Yes.
I've functioned as I need. I've made the right preparation. My reasoning is accurate. I've used the guidelines.
Yes.
God is the one who placed me in this environment.
Yes.
I will operate by courage. In that point, you cannot wait. Why? And I'll draw it from the Bible.
Okay.
In the old system, we used wait and see. Let me use Moses and Joshua
Okay.
to explain wait and see versus courage.
Yes.
For Moses, everybody had to stand and see what the Lord will do. Wait and see. There was a season where wait and see worked. So everybody stood back and saw the salvation
Of the Lord.
of the Lord.
Yes.
Moses parted the Red Sea and they walked through. When it came time to enter the Jordan did not part.
And there was no wait and see.
And there was no wait and see. The Jordan only parted when the foot of the first priest touched the water. So in this season, it is the courage that parts the water.
Yes.
The water doesn't part, then you go through. So we're moving from wait and see to see. Those who wait will
Yes.
be left behind.
I like
Move.
that illustration because if
Yes.
you talk of the second generation, that is
Yes.
the Joshua generation,
Yep.
they are saying that when you step in, the waters are still raging.
In fact, in the season they were told to step in,
Yes.
I think it's important to understand. When God parted the Red Sea was calm.
Yes.
When Joshua was told, let's cross, the Bible says it was when the Jordan banks overflow. It was flooding season.
So in the natural...
The river was rushing. It was a flooding season. It had hit the banks.
Yes.
That's when he was saying cross.
Yes.
There was no pathway. In the Red Sea, God gave them a path to follow.
Yes.
In this season, God is telling you,
create.
create the path.
So
I'm with you.
it's you who says that. I can see, when I look at this, when I listen to news, there's such discouraging news.
Exactly.
That is the waters.
Exactly.
The waters. You're seeing all these raging waters.
Yep.
God is telling you, no matter what you're hearing out there,
Yes.
He told the priest, step in.
Step in.
Into that same territory
Yes.
where everybody thinks things are going wrong.
Exactly.
Step in.
Exactly.
But because of your courage, when it comes to trust in Him,
Yes.
step in the water part.
So let's add another term to courage in this season.
Okay.
It's called trust. When you trust God,
Yes.
it appears as courage.
Yes. It's actually you're trusting God.
You're
you
trusting
cannot
God.
step on that
Yes.
river
Absolutely.
if you don't have trust in God.
Absolutely.
The priests knew their God.
Yes.
And they put out their foot and step.
So this season will be a season of pioneers of faith. People who will act because they know God said it will be a good season.
Yes.
Act because they know God told them they will be successful. Act because everything they are seeing is in the unseen. When they walk in the seen, it shall be seen.
Oh, yes. So it is your walking in the seen,
Yes.
your confidence in Him that causes the unseen
Yes.
to manifest in the seen.
Exactly.
So there are so many innovations
Yep.
that God could be telling you, have the courage.
Have the courage.
To just walk out there and do
Step
it.
out.
When you do it, it
Then
is
you will
seen.
see.
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing, please, do not sit in the wait and approach. We've entered an era that is called the blank era, like Noah. Whatever action you take is right.
I mean, what could you tell Noah?
Yes.
If he tells you the bank will be here,
Compared
the road
to
will
what?
be here, the schools will be here, he'll tell you, listen, whatever decision you're making
That's
now
the right one.
is right.
In other words, compared to what? That's the difference. That's
the
courage.
Power
Yes.
when we talk about post-COVID life reboot.
Yeah. You have the first move advantage. When you move, things begin to arrange.
Only fear can keep you back. Only fear can keep you back.
Because
we are talking about an open landscape. You're saying that you can go out there and
Yes.
be that which is in your heart, that which God has placed in your heart. Get out there, have courage, go and do it.
Do it.
Only fear can keep you back.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk about the seventh.
Yeah.
Guideline.
The seventh thing is accept the possibility that you have to take a completely new direction in everything you're doing.
Say that again.
Accept the possibility that you may have to start something completely new. Completely from scratch.
Yes.
That possibility is so important that you, and let's go back to Noah. All right? God did not tell Noah post-flood.
Build me an ark.
Yes.
And then, of course, step by step, you and your family in.
And, yes.
He's not telling him, by the way, when you come out, I promise you. No. Trust.
Exactly. So you begin to interact.
Yes.
You begin to build. Listen, you were successful. This is important. You were a successful ark builder. That's my metaphor. For the last, that's all you know.
Yes. That's all Noah knew.
Yeah. That's your identity. If you ask people, where's Noah? Which Noah? There's only one Noah here.
There's only one.
Which one? The ark builder.
Yes.
What is he doing? Building an ark.
Yes.
The ark was built. He finished. He became the best at it. And when he was building the ark, we must understand he was a pioneer.
Yes.
No one had ever built an ark.
Nobody knew what that was.
Yes.
God gave him a design of something.
Absolutely.
That he had so much trust in God.
Exactly.
He didn't question him because he should have asked, number one, what is rain?
That's it.
I mean, you were telling me
he just built.
that there'll be, okay, what is rain?
Yes. And that tells you, why must you think like Noah at the beginning?
Yes.
And also think as Noah at the end. In other words, now we are reversing the model for you.
Okay.
We are saying, think like Noah at the beginning as you start.
Yes.
But also think as Noah at the end as you're leaving where you're coming from. Okay? So let's start with Noah.
At the beginning.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Noah at the beginning is being told to build something that does not exist. For a problem that has not happened. How more complicated can you get? Build something that does not yet exist for a problem that has not yet occurred.
Yes.
How do you do that? Noah, build me an ark. Okay, God, what is an ark?
Because
an ark.
there will be rain.
There will be rain. What is rain?
What is rain? And there will be a flood that will carry everyone away.
What is a flood?
How?
The Bible even says, for it had not rained on the earth.
Yes.
They had not seen rain in those days of Noah.
So they could not even comprehend what that is. Water coming from the skies.
Yes.
There was nothing like that.
They didn't understand
they had never seen such a thing.
So everything he said initially didn't make sense. He built it and completed it.
Yes.
It finally made sense.
Does that also talk to this person today who is listening and saying, I have this idea.
Yes.
That post-COVID, I should do 1, 2, 3 things. But I don't seem to understand what that is. You are a Noah generation.
Start building.
You are like a Noah,
yes.
a person who hears from God. What God is telling you to build has never been seen in the earth.
Yep.
And sometimes you have fear that what if it doesn't work?
Because you're being messed up with the idea of people asking you, what is it for?
And you cannot explain.
You can't explain.
Because Noah could not tell people, okay, Noah, you're building for the rain. Now, Noah, tell us, what is the rain?
Exactly.
Actually, if you try to explain to people, you will waste all your time.
Explaining instead of building.
Instead of building.
Yeah. So build.
He's such a powerful principle.
Yes. So when Noah builds and Noah completes the building that he built becomes the most important vehicle on earth.
Yes.
Excellent, Noah.
Yes.
Well done. This is the problem.
And it was the latest technology of his time.
Suddenly, the requirement for his technology is over.
Yes.
It is important for some of us to realize that the requirement for our vehicle, the requirement for our technology, the requirement for our church, the requirement for our occupation for the last season is over. We have to begin to think like Noah.
Yes.
How do we start something completely new?
And I like how Noah, getting out of the ark,
Yes.
had God.
Yes.
When he had God, he interpreted what God was saying.
Yes.
And he knew, with what you are saying, let me go and start a vineyard.
Simple.
I can already hear you.
Yeah.
So the question is, God is speaking.
Yes.
What can you hear? Because he's talking post-COVID.
Yeah.
He is talking life after. He is talking, this is where I am with you.
Yes.
When he talks to you, because when he told Noah, get out of the ark,
Yep.
Noah is listening and hearing, okay, get out of the ark. And he says something, I will never.
Yeah, listen
He
to the
already
parallel.
knows.
Listen to the parallel between Noah and what we've been saying in this series. God said to Noah, never again will I destroy the earth with a flood. So what is God telling Noah? Never again will I use an ark.
Hearing the voice behind the voice, number
Simple.
one. Hearing the message behind the speaking.
Yes.
You're hearing
So
there's a
for
message
some
being
of you,
said.
God is saying, never again will I use your technology, your church, your process, your career. Never again. He didn't say never again will he use you.
The thing that you're doing, you are still perfect.
Yes, you are fine.
You are actually Noah
It is
was-
the thing. In fact, God said to Noah, get out of the ark. Very
is
important
God.
statement.
Get out.
Get out.
Yes.
It means you and the ark, done.
Yes.
All right? What does he say to Noah next? Now listen to me and listen to me well. As long as the earth remains, seed time, harvest, summer, winter, autumn, spring, shall remain. What does that tell you? I've introduced to you another dimension called seasons in life. So if I tell you seed time and harvest time will remain, start looking for seed.
And Noah was wise. He became a farmer.
Noah, Bible says, and Noah planted a vineyard.
Coming from building an ark.
Yes.
That's the generation God is looking for. God is saying, listen, when you talk about pre-COVID
Yeah.
and post-COVID,
Yes.
you are the same person, Noah.
Exactly.
But the Noah of pre
Exactly.
and the Noah of post.
Two different people.
Two different people.
So we need to ask, what was your ark and what is your vineyard?
What is it that you need to get rid of?
Yes.
Walk away from, because when he says come out,
Yes.
he's saying get out of.
Exactly.
Walk away.
Yes.
Create a distance between you and
Yes.
the business you're doing.
Exactly.
And get into something else.
Completely
What is
different.
your ark?
Completely different.
There are some people who want to carry their ark to the next season.
Yeah, some people want a poster of the ark in their facility.
Yes.
They want to be known as Noah the ark builder.
I'm the one who did this. God is saying, listen, I will never use that. For that season, Noah, you have done well.
Simple.
You have done well.
So let's ask a question. Why was the ark redundant? Because the ark was never God's intention. God's intention was the preservation of life, not the ark.
And he has already done that.
Yes.
So when he tells Noah, your wife, your sons and their wives,
Yes.
get out. And
Yes.
the animals that went in with him.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. That's the value.
These lives that you carried in the ark
Yes.
are more important than the ark.
Now, I'm not going to use
Now
that.
I want to bring them out because I was going to start the earth with them again.
Wow.
So we don't need the ark.
What is your ark? I mean, that's a good question to
Yeah.
ask. What is your ark?
What is your ark?
And what is the vineyard? Or what are you hearing? Because I think Noah is the most perfect
Example.
person
Yeah.
for a transition like this.
Exactly.
Because you're saying an ark builder
Yes.
to a vineyard, to a
There
farmer.
you go. There you go.
Look at the difference. I mean, you can't
Completely.
even compare.
From a man who was cutting trees to a man who is planting trees.
And he knows how to plant them because he cut them down.
Of course.
He knows now it's a season to plant.
Completely different.
Wow.
Now trees are supposed to stay alive. In the past, they were supposed to be a tool.
Yes.
So these are the different dynamics. These are the different processes
Yeah.
that we need to come into in this season.
So accepting the possibility
Yes.
of a completely new direction. I think that
Absolutely.
is something that anyone who is hearing us, talking about your business, coming to unfamiliar territory,
Yes.
that is what you should be thinking about.
Absolutely.
Coming to a place where you sit by yourself and ask yourself, could this be an ark? Could this be something that no matter how much I try to use in the next season, it will just be failure?
Absolutely.
It will be frustration.
Absolutely.
Because if Noah tried to take the ark to the next level, frustration at the highest point. That's actually the best way to express what frustration is.
Yep.
So maybe your final thoughts?
My final thoughts on this is, please don't have the most beautiful and classic ark that has no flood.
So it's useless.
Useless. It's the best technology, but
and you're
nobody
saying
needs
customers are not coming.
Nobody needs it.
Customers are not coming
That's
to me.
it.
You know why?
That's it.
Because you did not understand the possibility that what you're doing today might never be required in the future.
Absolutely.
That's something to leave you with as you continue thinking business unusual. Keep tracking.